Welcome to CathyDSlaught's SRC4u Zoom call for January 14th, 2022. We're here on Cathy's website, CathyDSlaght.com. We'll scroll down. We're going to look for this Zoom banner. If you'd like to be part of Cathy's SRC4u Daily Energy Clearing Group, the information's here to register. If you'd like to follow her on Twitter, you can click right through. This will take you right over to her Twitter account where you can see her latest posts. We're going to click through over to the Zoom call. We're going to accept. The call, again, will be live, so you may want to lower the volume. One moment, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Oh, good morning. Here is, as you can see, and this is interesting, with the root chakra work, we're still going. And I want to share some thoughts with you. First of all, with that in mind, I'm going to show you something from mine. Just to get to the... one of the things I'm trying to now, first thing every morning, look at my email. It's really quite interesting. Glad I'm doing that now. But there's quite a bit going on in Los Angeles. So I went in here, SRC session for people of Los Angeles today. And as you can see, there was an energy there. And so
what's going on there?
Well, the crime is out of control. And, but I just went in, and of course, you always want to put whom it may concern. So that's in there. And then I just went in to see if the Earth, the little vision board we did, would be of benefit. And we had an 81% benefit, and then just included that. And so I just want to remind you that if it tests out, as long as you're not, we can't work on people without their permission, but we can put a to whom it may concern, in my opinion. And anyone who wants to feel that energy can then perhaps have it available. Because we are all one. And then for our group, we're still working on the root chakra. So I went in and I started testing. I want to show you today some of the things you can do with your sustenance balancer. And also with the Pro Tools, because we are still going on the root chakra. But something else to think about, you can go in on online and learn a lot about each individual chakra. We're going up above that. We're working on the mind, and so we're working to regain wholeness. We want to step away from chaos, which we have the power to do. And so, and also I'm going to include this in case anybody's interested. You can test yourself to see if it's a benefit. It's a long, every day for like 10 days, sound therapy webinar, and it's all free. So you might want to check that out for yourself. And also I got an interesting email in reference to the Tesla plasma chamber, and we have a code. So I thought we'd add that. But let's look in here at the sustenance balance, and you can do some very interesting things, more so than I would have realized for a long time. I guess COVID brought that out as far as some of the things you can do. Just test for priority. And so if we go in here, go to your load cocktail. And yesterday, for the P4, there was one cocktail. But you can see, if you go in here to SRC4u data and put in the root chakras, you have many other cocktails. And so I went in and tested to see the benefit. I'm going to go here and save. And you can see in the cocktail here the oils that are recommended. But again, interesting, for example, I was listening to something this morning, and the pyramids actually represent our mind. And I thought, well, that's an interesting concept. And we know all is mind. So
that's interesting, very much so.
I thought it was, yeah. Never heard it put that way before.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up, because I know years ago I came out and read something about sharpening your razor blades using a pyramid. So I bought a little pyramid, brought it home and stuck my razor blades in there. And let me tell you, it worked too.
Oh, it did? Well, that's interesting. There's a lot. So it's a matter, and I do think many of us are opening our mind to things we didn't think about or consider before. A lot of this information comes out of Egypt, and it is interesting that they had the pyramids. So I'm starting out here. This is just a thought. If you want to give this a try, you can do this with certain supplements, etc., etc. This is what we did yesterday with that. We started with the skin in reference to bacteria. Then we went into bacterial infection, that cocktail, and went through all of the categories here. And what I've been doing, and it doesn't seem to be a negative, it seems to be a positive, is I'm going to check now, do we want more than a minute? I'll take 2 minutes. And I've just been checking once we do this, once we calibrate, if we want a little bit more. And you can go through here and send some interesting information with Los Angeles, for example. You could perhaps send some spiritual clearing, test for priority, test to make sure it's okay. But there are many things you could do. Then in reference to...
yeah, I'm going to check on that.
Yeah. So you can look now at our group. So let's add some Pro Tools today for the root chakra. We'd like the QiGong, the light panel twice, and the prayer warrior. And I tried to clean out a prayer warrior so it doesn't have anybody wrong. Okay, so let's just, well, shoot. Didn't quite get it done. All right. A lot of us are in here on a regular basis. Let's just look in here.
Wow, that's a lot.
What's that?
Fighting others.
Yeah, that's right. Not what I meant to do here. Yeah, we have a lot of them praying with us today. So let's again go in.
That's interesting. I usually only see 35,000. Yours like double.
Well, maybe this root chakra is a bigger deal than we had realized. And what's interesting, though, if you listen to some other things, the information we need for mind actually comes up through the root chakra. It starts and it moves its way up. We're going to go into sacral next, but it's pretty interesting. So what I've been doing, and it's a little bit of, some people don't want to go to that kind of, go that direction. But I like to go in here. Is it gonna?
Well, I know using a pendulum, I can clear my chakras, all of them.
Absolutely. Time. So you can look in here, for example, here's root chakra clearing. And I think I just like to do the priority for chi and ask. Priority for chi. Looks pretty good. Well, let's go in here. I'm going to take 13 hours. Let's just get started with that, and we can maybe test at a later time if maybe 13 hours is appropriate. And then you can go on in to your QiGong. Let's do all core energies at this point. Let's just see, we still have gems. Priority for Qi. Chakra gems via QiGong. No, not so much at this moment in time. Root chakra affirmations. Okay, so we've got a 92 on that.
You gonna use it?
Yep, I'm going to save it too. Let's go in and save. I think you can do just about anything, even with that fancy Tesla. I think we can work with this code with our equipment we already have. What is that? 2 hours. Okay. And then we have the light panel. Let's just go in here and put root chakra. Just put stress. 11 hours. So maybe give somebody some thoughts with this sustenance balancer. Let's just see, do we want more now? Yeah, we'll take 7. So again, this is extremely subtle. Might be interesting to look up these oils and see what we've got, as far as qualities. But we know both the oils and the subtle bodies really our oils and flower essences really have a wallop on our subtle bodies. Let's just go in here, even though it wasn't requested, and see if we ask for any flower essences in particular. We may not. Nope, we're not even asking at this point. So see, we're focused at this moment in time on the oils. Another something that has really been coming up very consistently is this stress related to amino acids. It's coming up for a lot of people. So we'll just go ahead and do that. And with all that in mind, this is a short Zoom today because you can see the work we're doing. Anything to add? Any thoughts on all this?
Yes. The Tesla Rebel number. Do you have any idea what's going to happen with that?
I have a YouTube that I got this morning. I'll send it out.
Thank you.
It looks like a pretty expensive piece of equipment. They'll give you a phone number to call. They don't want to give the price on here, But that's a really good thought. We probably should go through here. Let's just, for the heck of it, let's just do it. If y'all are.
I mean, I believe it would absolutely be beneficial, but you know, what is there anything in specific that it's trying to achieve?
Yeah. The piece of equipment looks phenomenal, and I didn't call. I didn't look for the price or anything. I just tested myself because I do believe. I believe we can manifest what we need. So I looked for the benefit for me to look into purchasing it. It was just a low benefit, 39%. So I thought, no, I'm going to stick with what I'm doing. I don't need to shift my focus at this point. Let's just look in here like this. Okay, so, and this is interesting too, our elements, which has such a strong correlation to the mind. And then I'll let this clear. Virus, a little the ghost points, which you're familiar with. There's our root chakra. Look at that. And it's funny, I did test that priority for startup scan, and we actually wanted it in the startup scan as well. Women's issue, lower Sanjiao. I don't know if you noticed in the work on To Whom It May Concern in Los Angeles, the knees were a factor, maybe moving forward. Relaxation is mentioned twice. Root chakra again, pituitary, negativity, heart chakra.
So you tested the Tesla plasma chamber as needed in the startup scan.
Yes, and it was up there in the 80s. I was surprised at that. Now, if we don't scan for it, then it won't be a part of it. But it's interesting, this soul systems also, which I believe goes into our power of choice. That would be what Neville Goddard talked about. And
That's right.
We've talked about him before. Most of his work is free online, and I have been telling people for years about the what's that one, Awakened Imagination, and I believe that book is online, or the YouTube, and it's phenomenal.
Yes.
Now this addiction, it very well could be addiction to our present reality. There's our spine, which we know is involved with our work with the chakras.
Will this work with all of us?
I don't know. Everybody, we're all, none of us, as we like to say, we're the same size shoe. So that's why I like to do the scan to see if we resonate. We may not. So but one thing about the SRC, it's not going to hurt you. Not going to hurt you. It's programmed differently. So,
and it's all etheric. It's very subtle.
Correct. It's like a pebble in a pond, and that's the other thing that sometimes is frustrating, is it may take a while. You may not work with it one day and notice anything, but it's the consistency. There's that curse thing again. I have to do more research on that. Say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. Woeful, panic, rebalance after a nightmare. And there's a resistance factor. This moment in time is virus. Let's just go ahead and And this virus stuff could be just because it's on our mind. As we all know in here, I'm just saying it again.
Well, you can't get away from the media.
You can't. That's exactly right. Look at that, 20 hours. So, yeah, there's a lot of us have stopped listening to the mainstream. And in a sense, that's not good either. We should be open to all kinds of information. But there is a real fear propaganda, it seems. Now, I did notice that, sometimes you can catch up with the YouTubes. But a few highlights. They are now beginning to say on mainstream that a fairly significant portion of the corona cases, the people are not in there for corona. They're not having any problems with corona. They're in there for other issues. Whereas before, if a person, for example, was in for cancer and they happened to get corona and then they died, they would label the death as corona, which wasn't really factual.
It's for the money.
You got it. You got it.
Even the young adults, because I homeschool, their conversation is on it. They're calling it a bioweapon. It's a FOD. I'm like, oh my god.
Really? That's so interesting. Well, Annie, I don't know if Annie's on or not, but she mentioned how enlightened the group of kids she's working with seem to be. So yeah.
I'm here. Yes,
Oh,
and yes.
good.
I'm truly, we're in good hands, and with the light workers that are here,
Yes.
because they're so advanced, and they're like the one I'm working with right now is if you believe in off-planet stuff, is a geneticist off-planet. So she's here to really bring forward so much, and she's doing leaps and bounds with how many people she's reaching all over the world.
That's wonderful. Well, some of us, like me, I tend to come from a very conservative background, and we're opening our minds. We're opening our minds, and they say that when you have the separation that you're seeing between many people, it is about knowledge. Those who are willing to amp up their knowledge, and those that simply are not. Now let's look at this regaining wholeness code. A little bit of a stress there, as you can see. Let's see. And Shen is, we could put it in Shen, but let's just see if there's anything. Okay, so we'll take it the old Tesla style 3 times. Step away. Can we choose to do that? I believe we can. Step away from chaos. Now see, we have the energy is there. It's a little bit at this moment in time, a little bit low. Let's amp it up. And I'm making every effort to start the quantum jumping class on Tuesday. I don't know if anybody else ever signs up for things they never end up doing.
You'll like that. You'll like
Yeah,
that. Sure.
I think I really will. Yeah. Interesting.
Very much so.
So, add this in here.
Is there a charge for that?
The quantum, what I signed up is the online, and it was $199.
Oh, okay.
So I'll keep you posted, and the only way to find out if it works is to give it a shot. So
True.
I'm interested more in health issues for other people, but he's saying we can do any number of things, and this is an example, he has demonstrated it with his own life, this Bert Goldman.
I can remember when Bert first put that together, he didn't have that name for it though, and he and I used to keep in contact all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And one day he told me, he says, well, I'm putting this program together, and he gave it another name at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then as he progressed along, then he ended up calling it a quantum jumping.
That's cool. And you wonder if he worked with any numerology or anything like that. There's a lot of things.
Bert Goldman was a former Silva instructor too.
Mm-hmm. And the Silva, that's another. And by the way, I found this course on Mind Valley, and I didn't choose yet to join Mind Valley, but it looks like they have a lot of courses, including on Silva. So lots to learn.
Silva Mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Wednesday.
You too, Cathy.
Thanks, Cathy.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you very much.
This concludes the SRC4u Zoom call. Thank you for participating. We look forward to seeing you again. Till then, take care and be well.